The human protagonist awakens in a massive, glowing alien palace on a distant planet. The environment is strange, organic, yet technologically advanced. He notices he is surrounded by alien guards, but they do not immediately attack. Instead, they look cautious. Soft alien voices echo through the hallways, creating a sense of unease. He meets the alien queen, a towering and majestic figure with shimmering armor like skin and piercing eyes. She approaches with grace but exudes dangerous authority. During a misunderstanding, he accidentally calls her daughter, "my love," while trying to speak politely. The queen's expression changes instantly, her fury is palpable. Guards tense, and the palace seems to hold its breath. The queen demands an explanation. The protagonist tries to explain that it was a cultural misunderstanding, but she is unmoved. He glimpses the daughter, a young alien with human-like empathy in her eyes. She looks both curious and embarrassed. The queen's rage triggers a palace-wide lockdown. Doors slam, lights flicker, and strange energy pulses through the walls. The protagonist must think quickly to survive. He tries to appeal to logic, humor, and shared values, showing humanity's uniqueness. Suspense builds as the queen circles him slowly, showing she can end his life with a single gesture. Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The human woke to a strange, pulsating light. His eyes fluttered open, revealing a vast chamber that seemed to stretch endlessly. Organic walls glimmered as if alive, veins of energy pulsing with every heartbeat. Towering above him were figures in shimmering armor, alien shapes with glinting eyes that followed his every movement. He froze, heart hammering, unsure if he had landed in a dream, or a nightmare. "Where am I?" he whispered, his voice echoing unnaturally in the massive hall. The aliens didn't answer, they simply watched, silent and still, like predators assessing a curious, fragile creature. Before him, the corridor opened into a grand throne room. The floor beneath him seemed to glow faintly, lighting the way toward a figure that radiated authority and power. Sitting atop an elevated dais was the alien queen. Her skin shimmered in shades of silver and violet, and her eyes, huge and luminous, pierced his very soul. A crown of crystal-like tendrils crowned her head, each pulse glowing in sync with the strange energy of the room. The human swallowed hard. I come in peace," he said, though his voice trembled. The queen rose slowly, her presence so commanding that the human instinctively took a step back. Every alien guard in the room stiffened, ready to act at her slightest gesture. He felt exposed, insignificant, but strangely, there was no immediate attack. Then he saw her. The daughter, a younger alien, delicate yet dignified, stepped from the shadows. Her eyes were wide, curious, and strangely familiar, human-like in their empathy. The human's throat tightened. He wanted to speak, to explain why he was here, to somehow survive the encounter. "Greetings, princess," he began awkwardly, bowing slightly. I am your guest, your friend." His words faltered. His eyes flicked toward her face. Something about her reminded him of someone he had known, someone warm and kind. Without thinking, he said the words that would change everything. "My love." The moment the words left his mouth, the room froze. Even the air seemed to halt. The queen's eyes widened, her pupils narrowing like knives. Guards shifted uneasily, sensing the shift in energy. "Did you call my daughter, my love, human?" The queen's voice boomed, low and dangerous, vibrating through the floor. Each word was laced with fury. The human's stomach twisted in terror. I didn't mean," he stammered, but she raised a hand, stopping him before he could finish. "You dare?" Her tone was icy. She descended from the dais with the grace of a predator, each step echoing like a drumbeat in the chamber. "Do you understand the weight of your words in our culture? One who calls my daughter, my love, in public insults the entire royal line. You may not survive this mistake." The human's mind raced. He tried to recall anything he knew about alien etiquette from the briefings before his journey, but it all felt meaningless here, in this living palace. I meant no disrespect," he said. "In my world, it is a term of affection, not insult." "Silence," the queen snapped, her voice cutting through him like a blade. Guards raised weapons, though he suspected it was unnecessary. The human had no illusions. One wrong move, and he would be gone. He glanced at the daughter. She was staring at him, eyes wide, yet her expression was softer than the queen's. A flicker of curiosity, perhaps even amusement, shone in her gaze. He realized she had understood his intention. Somehow, she had understood, and she might be his only hope. The Queen stopped a few steps away, towering over him. Her presence alone seemed to warp the room. Walls pulsed as if alive. "Explain yourself," she demanded. "Or face the consequences of your audacity." The human swallowed hard. He needed a strategy. Words alone could not protect him. He had to show his worth, his intelligence, his humanity. "Queen, I speak honestly," he said, his voice gaining strength. "I did not mean harm. In my world, words of affection show respect, care, and trust. I meant only to honor your daughter." The Queen's eyes narrowed further. A long pause followed. The chamber seemed to stretch on endlessly as her gaze pierced him. The guards shifted, restless now, sensing that the decision might come soon. Finally, the daughter spoke. Her voice was soft, melodic, yet firm. "Mother." She approached carefully, standing between him and the Queen. The Queen's eyes snapped to her daughter, fury still burning, yet hesitation now flickered in the corners of her expression. "What do you mean, child?" the Queen demanded. "Father, human, means no disrespect," the daughter said, her words deliberate. "His culture is different. He honors me with his words. I do not take offense." The human blinked. He had expected this daughter to be untouchable, like her mother, a force of nature. But she seemed human, in the sense that she could understand, could reason. He dared a small nod of gratitude, careful not to provoke the Queen further. "Explain your ways to me," the Queen commanded. "If what you say is true, I must understand. If false, you will perish." The human began to speak, slowly, carefully. He described the concept of human affection, of trust and honor, of respect through words. He demonstrated through gestures, humor, and example, showing his empathy and cleverness. Slowly, the daughter's eyes brightened, sensing his sincerity. But the Queen was not yet satisfied. Her fury had not vanished, it only simmered beneath the surface. She circled him, studying him like a predator examining prey for weakness. Every step was deliberate, every movement controlled, powerful. The tension became unbearable. Every guard, every pulse of light, every whisper in the air contributed to the sensation that the human was a single spark in a chamber of storms, ready to ignite disaster. He could almost feel the Queen's energy pressing against his chest, weighing him down with the gravity of her judgment. Then, just as the Queen's hand rose, a subtle energy pulse passed through the room. The daughter stepped forward, whispering something in their alien tongue. The words resonated strangely in the chamber. Even the Queen paused, her fury momentarily suspended. Guards froze, unsure of the effect, as if some invisible force held them in place. The human barely understood the language, but he could feel its meaning. "Stop, he honors me." For a brief moment, the chamber felt still. But the Queen's gaze remained fixed on him, her power palpable and her anger unspent. The human's heart raced. Survival had not yet been secured. As the daughter stood between him, eyes locked with his, the human realized that his fate rested on more than words. He had to prove himself, not just in speech, but in action, in courage, in ingenuity. The stakes were higher than he had imagined. The chamber's light pulsed faster now, the air thick with tension. Guards whispered in alien tones, shadows flickering across the walls. Every moment was a test. Every heartbeat could be his last. And then, with a final, thunderous glance, the Queen spoke again. "You will remain here tonight," she said. "Do not attempt escape. Do not speak unless spoken to. Tomorrow, your fate will be decided." The human's stomach dropped. He had survived the first confrontation, but he knew the Queen's judgment could change at any moment. He turned to the daughter, who gave him a small, encouraging smile, hinting at trust, hope, and perhaps a sliver of alliance. As the chamber doors closed behind him, the glowing walls dimmed. He was left alone with his thoughts, the weight of alien culture, and the knowledge that one wrong step could end his life. Sleep was impossible. Every sound, every flicker of light, every heartbeat reminded him. He was a human in a world ruled by beings far more powerful and intelligent. Tomorrow would decide everything. The human did not sleep that night. The chamber given to him was beautiful, glowing with blue and purple lights, but his heart would not rest. Every sound outside the door reminded him that alien guards were watching him. Every flicker of the wall reminded him that the Queen was powerful enough to erase him with a single thought. He walked back and forth, thinking about the Queen's anger, the princess's curious eyes, and the mistake that had started it all. One simple phrase, "my love," had nearly cost him his life. But tomorrow could finish the job. As the first pulse of morning light flowed through the living palace walls, the doors opened. 2 tall guards stepped in, their armor shifting like liquid metal. "Human," one said, "the Queen summons you." His stomach twisted, but he nodded. Running would only make things worse. He followed him down long corridors, each glowing with energy veins. The palace felt alive, watching him, judging him. Finally, they reached the throne chamber again. The Queen sat on her high seat, glowing with authority as strong as sunlight. Her eyes were sharp, cold, measuring him like a threat, or a mistake that still needed punishment. Beside her stood the princess. She looked calm, yet her eyes revealed something hidden: worry. Hope. He was not sure. The guards pushed him to stand in the center of the room. "Human," the Queen began. "This morning, I decide your fate." Her voice echoed through the halls like thunder. He took a deep breath. "I understand." But before the Queen could speak again, a deep rumbling shook the palace. The floor trembled. Lights flickered. The guards instantly raised their weapons and looked toward the massive doors. The Queen's expression darkened. "Not now." The doors exploded inward with a burst of blue fire. A group of armored aliens stormed inside. Their armor was darker, jagged, with glowing red symbols. Their leader, a tall warrior with burning crimson eyes, pointed a weapon at the Queen. "Your rule ends today," the leader hissed. "We take the throne. We take everything." The Queen rose in fury. "Traitors!" Chaos erupted instantly. Guards clashed with the invading warriors. Energy blasts lit up the hall. The human ducked behind a pillar as explosions shook the throne room. He could feel his heart slamming against his ribs. He was outmatched, unarmed, and in the middle of an alien civil war he did not understand. A scream echoed, sharp, terrified. He looked up. The princess was cornered. 3 rebels closed in on her, their weapons humming with deadly power. She stumbled back, fear on her face. The Queen was too far to reach her. The guards were overwhelmed. No one else saw it. No one but him. The human didn't think. He acted. He sprinted across the chaos, dodging blasts and fallen debris. A rebel fired at him. He dropped to the floor, rolling behind a broken piece of the wall. Another aimed at the princess. "No!" the human shouted. He grabbed a fallen guard's staff-like weapon. He didn't know how it worked, so he pressed every button. The weapon hummed, glowing. He jumped in front of the princess just as a blast fired. The energy hit the staff instead of her. The weapon vibrated violently, then released a shockwave that sent all 3 rebels flying across the room. The princess gasped. The human stood between her and danger, chest heaving. "You protected me," she whispered. "I'm not letting anyone hurt you," he said, gripping the staff tightly. More rebels charged toward them. This time, the princess stepped beside him, glowing with inner power. "Human, follow my lead." She pressed her palm to the weapon. Energy surged through her hand into the staff. It transformed, becoming stronger, brighter, more stable. "Now," she said. Together, they fought. The human swung the staff, releasing bursts of energy. The princess shielded him, blocking enemy fire with shimmering force fields. They moved like one mind, human instinct and alien power working perfectly together. Across the hall, the Queen watched. Shock, confusion, and something else. A spark of respect. But the battle wasn't over. The rebel leader charged toward the Queen, weapon crackling with destructive power. The Queen prepared to defend, but she was wounded from earlier strikes and slowed. The human saw the leader sprinting. He didn't hesitate. He jumped in front of the Queen just as the rebel attacked. The human blocked the strike with the staff, but the force threw him to the ground. The staff shattered in his hands. The rebel lifted his weapon for a killing blow. The human braced himself. But the blow never came. A massive beam of purple energy blasted the rebel backward. The princess stood there, both hands raised, glowing like a star. The Queen's eyes widened. "Daughter," she whispered. The rebels, seeing their leader defeated, withdrew quickly. Within moments, the palace guards regained control and secured the throne room. Silence fell. The human stood shakily, covered in dust and bruises. The princess helped him up, her hand warm and gentle. The Queen approached them slowly. Every guard watched. Every sound stopped. The human swallowed hard. He expected anger, punishment, maybe even death. Instead, the Queen lowered her head slightly. "Not much, but enough. You saved my daughter," she said. "And you protected me with your own life." The human didn't know what to say. He simply nodded, unsure if speaking might still offend her. The queen's expression remained stern, but her voice softened. In my culture, calling someone, my love, is a sacred phrase. It binds two hearts. Only those chosen may speak it. What you said was reckless, but today, you proved your heart is not false. The princess looked at him shyly. Mother, he fought bravely. For us. The queen turned to her daughter, then back to the human. Very well, she said. Your life is spared. More than that, your honor is restored. A wave of relief hit him so hard he almost collapsed. But the queen wasn't finished. She stepped closer until they were face to face. Human, she said, you came to our world as an outsider. But you showed courage. You showed loyalty. You showed love. He blinked rapidly, unsure if he heard correctly. The queen continued, from this day forward, you are recognized as an ally of the royal family. You will live under our protection. You will walk our halls freely. The guards bowed slightly to him. The princess smiled softly. He felt his chest warm with relief, and something else. Belonging, maybe. But then the queen leaned closer, her eyes sharp again. One warning, she said. If you ever again call my daughter, my love, without her permission, I will reconsider this mercy. The human froze in terror. The princess blushed bright violet. Mother, the queen turned away, hiding what might have been the smallest smile. Come, she commanded. A banquet will be held tonight. You will be presented to our people. The human nodded quickly. Yes, your majesty. As they walked through the towering palace, the princess stayed close to him. You were brave, she whispered. No human has ever done what you did today. I didn't think, he admitted. I just acted. That, she said softly, is what makes humans special. He looked at her, unsure how to respond. Then, she added, almost in a whisper, and, maybe, you can call me that word one day. But not now. He nearly tripped over his own feet. The princess laughed, musical and warm. In the distance, the queen walked ahead, pretending not to listen. But the human was certain. He saw her lips turn upward, just slightly. The palace lights glowed brighter as they walked deeper inside, ready to start a new chapter he never expected. A human in the heart of an alien empire. Trusted, protected, and possibly, destined for more. Fade out.